Welcome back to Throttle Tribe. Think all the good bikes are overpriced? Think again. Some of the best rides out there are hiding in plain sight. Cheap, reliable, and totally overlooked. These are 7 hidden gem motorcycles no one talks about, but you definitely should. Let's dive in. Number 7. Yamaha FZ6R. While many riders chase after fully fared race replicas, this Yamaha quietly flies under the radar. It offers a perfect blend of real-world performance, everyday comfort, and pricing that'll make any bargain hunter smile. The FZ6R is powered by a 600cc inline-4 engine, derived from the older R6 platform. But unlike the high-strung Supersport, this engine is retuned for smoother power delivery and better low-end torque. This isn't a peaky track missile. It's a real-world machine that gives you the joy of revving an inline-4 without punishing you in city traffic or on long highway rides. It produces around 78 horsepower and 44 lb-ft of torque, which is plenty for spirited riding, but still manageable for newer riders moving up from smaller bikes. At just under 470 lbs wet weight, it's a very manageable option for daily use. Plus, its more upright riding position compared to full-on Supersports reduces wrist fatigue and gives you better visibility in traffic. That relaxed stance, combined with full fairings and decent wind protection, makes the FZ6R an underrated gem for commuting, weekend trips, or even the occasional twisty canyon run. The chassis feels solid without being overly stiff, striking a great balance between comfort and feedback. The suspension isn't adjustable, but it's well tuned for most riders right out of the box. Sure, you won't be setting lap records at the track, but you'll be grinning every time you roll on the throttle and feel that smooth inline-4 surge. One of the biggest perks? Availability. Yamaha produced the FZ6R for nearly a decade, so the used market is full of great examples. Parts are easy to find, upgrades are plentiful, and maintenance is refreshingly straightforward. Because it never gained the cult following of the R6 or R1, prices have stayed low, usually between $3,500 and $4,500, depending on the year, mileage, and condition. That's a steal for a bike with this kind of performance and reliability. Number 6. Suzuki TU250X. This one right here is the definition of a hidden gem. The Suzuki TU250X is one of those bikes that most people walk right past in a dealership without realizing just how much it has to offer, especially considering what you can pick it up for. Dealerships are letting these go for incredibly low prices, often under $4,000 for a well-maintained used model. And when you factor in how well it runs, how easy it is to maintain, and how versatile it is for riders of all levels, this little Suzuki becomes a total steal. At the heart of the TU250X is a fuel-injected, air-cooled single-cylinder engine that produces around 16 horsepower, displacing 249 cc with approximately 14 lb-ft of torque. Sure, that might sound underwhelming to the folks riding big V-twins, but for city cruising, Sunday morning backroad runs, or even teaching someone how to ride, it's more than enough. Thanks to its lightweight design, tipping the scales at just 326 lbs, this bike handles like a bicycle with an engine. It's super easy to lean into corners and even easier to load onto a trailer or tuck away in your garage. Maintenance is another huge win. You can practically rebuild half the bike with just a few wrenches. Oil changes? A breeze. If you're the kind of rider who enjoys getting your hands dirty in the garage, the TU250X will reward you with reliability and simplicity that's hard to find these days. So why isn't this bike more popular? Simple. People think it looks too old-fashioned or assume it's too small to be taken seriously. But those are usually the same riders who end up on oversized, uncomfortable beasts they never truly enjoy. The TU250X is the kind of bike you fall in love with after owning something bigger and realizing that simpler often means better. If you're looking for a reliable, affordable, and charming little bike to either start your riding journey or enjoy those carefree backroad cruises with a smile on your face, this is the one you don't want to overlook. Dealerships are practically giving them away, and it's only a matter of time before people catch on. Now, speaking of underappreciated, the next one on this list is built like a tank, and somehow, nobody's talking about it. Number 5. Kawasaki vs 650. While everyone else is chasing after the more recognizable Ninja sport bikes or the adventure-ready KLR models, the Kawasaki vs 650 sits quietly in the shadows, waiting for the right rider to recognize its true value. This is a classic case of a motorcycle that delivers far more than its reputation suggests. Under the tank, you'll find a 649cc parallel twin engine producing around 64 horsepower and 45 lb-ft of torque. That might not sound explosive on paper, but in real-world riding conditions, this power band hits the sweet spot. Smooth, capable, and fast enough for any road scenario. Whether you're navigating tight city traffic or leaning into a sweeping backroad corner, the Versys delivers a responsive and predictable feel that makes riding both easy and enjoyable. One of the biggest surprises with the Versys is just how comfortable it is. The long travel suspension soaks up road imperfections with ease, and the upright riding position makes it ideal for long stretches in the saddle. Add to that a well-padded seat, wide handlebars, and a manageable wet weight of around 454 lbs, and you've got a bike that's ready for just about anything, from weekday commuting to weekend getaways. Visually, it doesn't try to follow trends or mimic aggressive adventure bikes. Instead, it strikes a unique balance between a naked bike and a light-duty adventure tourer. Some riders might find its looks a little unusual, but that nonconformity is exactly why the Versys flies under the radar. It's a true utility player, capable of handling multiple roles without needing the spotlight. And because it never developed the cult following of other Kawasaki models, the Versys has remained one of the best-kept secrets in the used motorcycle market. That lack of mainstream popularity actually works in your favor. Fewer people are looking for them, and sellers often let them go for far less than they're worth, typically ranging between $3,800 and $5,500 on the used market, depending on condition and year. If you're the kind of rider who values function over fame and wants a machine that will just keep running without making a scene, this is the motorcycle for you. If you're willing to ride something that most people overlook, you could score a serious win with the Versys. But if you want something that makes a little more noise, both on the street and in the parking lot, the next bike on this list is ready to grab attention without grabbing headlines. Number 4. Honda Shadow RS. The Honda Shadow RS was part of the Shadow lineup for only a few short years, making it one of the most underrated cruisers on the used market today. Due to its limited production run and understated styling, most people overlook it while searching for bigger-name models, but those in the know recognize it for what it truly is, a hidden gem. The RS distinguishes itself from the rest of the Shadow family in several key ways. While most Shadows were designed as traditional cruisers, the RS leans toward a sportier aesthetic and riding experience. It features higher-mounted foot pegs, a flatter seat, and a slightly more aggressive riding position, giving it a unique identity. Some even compare its look to an iconic American V-twin cruiser, the Harley-Davidson Sportster, because at a glance the RS shares a similar silhouette. But dig a little deeper, and you'll find the RS is very much its own machine, offering more than first impressions might suggest. Powering the RS is a reliable 745cc liquid-cooled V-twin engine. It puts out around 43 horsepower and 47 pound-feet of torque. Those numbers may not sound overwhelming, but the engine is tuned perfectly for street use and relaxed cruising. It's the kind of motor that hums all day long, delivering smooth power and low-end torque that makes both city riding and open-road cruising feel easy and stress-free. Plus, it's fuel-injected, meaning no choke levers and no hassle with cold starts. Another standout feature of the RS is its shaft drive. While most bikes in this class use chain or belt drives, the RS's shaft drive setup brings low-maintenance reliability and a cleaner rear-end look. It's one of those things you don't appreciate until you own one, and then you wonder why more bikes don't have it. With a wet weight just under 500 pounds, the RS is light and nimble, making it ideal for new riders or those returning to motorcycling after a break. Its balance of style, performance, and dependability makes it an excellent choice for riders who want something different. On the used market, you can usually find a well-maintained Honda Shadow RS in the range of $3,500 to $5,000, depending on mileage and condition, a great value for such a unique machine. If you're after a bike that's reliable, easy to ride, and uncommon enough to turn heads, the Shadow RS is a hidden gem worth seeking out. But if your taste leans more towards something that breaks all the rules, just wait until you see the next bike on this list. Number 3. Hyosung GT 250R. This is one of those bikes that fools just about everyone at first glance. When you see the GT 250R parked next to other sport bikes, it looks every bit like a full-blown leader bike. The aggressive styling, the full fairings, the big bike stance, it checks all the boxes visually. But here's the kicker. It's not a leader bike. Under all that muscle-bound bodywork is a lightweight, easy-to-handle machine that delivers solid performance without the sky-high price tag. That makes it one of the biggest hidden gems you can snag today for dirt cheap, especially if you're browsing the used market. This machine is powered by a 249cc V-twin engine that produces around 28 horsepower and just over 16 lb-ft of torque. Now those numbers won't win any drag races, but they're more than enough to keep you moving with confidence on the highway and around town. And for newer riders, those specs are actually in the sweet spot, offering real motorcycle performance without the kind of overwhelming power that can get you into trouble. It's a great platform for learning, growing, and having fun without feeling underpowered or outclassed. The V-twin setup gives it a deep growl that's more satisfying than the buzzier sound of most parallel twins in this class. Plus, the power delivery is smooth and predictable, perfect for building rider confidence. What really sets this bike apart, though, is its size. Unlike most beginner-friendly bikes, the GT250R comes in a full-size sport bike frame. That means even taller or heavier riders can feel comfortable without looking or feeling like they're riding a toy. With a wet weight of approximately 375 pounds, it's still very manageable, but it gives you that solid, satisfying feeling of being on a real motorcycle. One of the reasons this bike flies under the radar is simple. The brand, Hyosung, isn't exactly a household name in the United States. Some folks hesitate when they see a name they don't recognize, but make no mistake, this machine is not some cheap knockoff. If you want a bike that looks fast, rides well, and doesn't carry the typical beginner bike stigma, the GT250R deserves a serious look. But if you're ready for something that looks quiet on the outside and rides like a rocket, the next bike on this list is a true sleeper, hiding in plain sight. Number 2, Honda NC700X and NC750X. At first glance, the Honda NC700X and NC750X might sound like something out of a commuter's dream rather than a rider's fantasy. They feature a storage compartment where the gas tank should be, a red line that tops out lower than most cars, and fuel efficiency that puts scooters to shame. But that's exactly why the NC series is such a hidden gem, because almost no one gives it the credit it truly deserves. And because of that, you can often scoop one up dirt cheap on the used market. Both the NC700X and NC750X are powered by a parallel twin engine that ranges from 670cc to 745cc depending on the year and model. These bikes produce around 54 horsepower and 50 lb-ft of torque. That may not seem like much on paper, but the low-end torque kicks in early, giving you surprisingly strong pull right off the line. Combine that with either a manual or automatic DCT, dual clutch transmission option, and you've got a ride that feels confident, smooth, and extremely forgiving. Perfect for both new riders and experienced commuters. Now let's talk about that storage. Instead of a traditional gas tank up top, Honda gave you a front trunk, big enough to fit a full-face helmet. It's waterproof, secure, and so practical that many riders say they can never go back to a traditional layout. The actual gas tank is tucked under the seat, which helps balance the bike's weight more evenly and improves handling. The seating position is upright, the foot pegs are comfortably placed, and the suspension is tuned for everyday usability. This is the kind of bike you can take across town for errands, or across the state for a weekend ride, all without stopping constantly for fuel. In fact, thanks to its efficient engine design, the NC series often gets over 60 miles per gallon depending on your riding style. Weight comes in around 475 pounds wet, which means it's light enough for beginners to feel in control, but heavy enough to feel planted and stable at highway speeds. If practical performance with a hidden twist is your thing, this is your bike. But if you're looking for something with even more muscle and a lot less subtlety, the next machine on this list might just stop you in your tracks. Number 1, Suzuki GSX 650F. This next motorcycle is one of the most underrated and misunderstood machines ever to wear the Suzuki badge. While most riders get fixated on the GSX-R lineup and its high-revving, track-focused performance, the GSX 650F quietly delivers real-world capability, without the flash or the premium price tag. At the heart of this machine is a liquid-cooled inline-4 engine with a displacement of 656 cc. It produces around 85 horsepower and 58 lb-ft of torque, giving it more than enough grunt for spirited backroad riding, daily commuting, or even light touring. The power delivery is smooth and steady, making the bike feel responsive without being twitchy. It may not scream like a race bike, but it definitely moves when you roll on the throttle. One of the biggest advantages of the 650F is its relaxed ergonomics and sport touring setup. Unlike the GSX-Rs, which tuck you into a full race crouch, this bike lets you sit upright with a more neutral wrist position. That makes a huge difference on longer rides or when navigating through city traffic. Riders often find themselves going twice the distance with half the fatigue, and that's no exaggeration. It blends sport bike performance with a practical riding position that older riders, or anyone with back or wrist issues, will really appreciate. The chassis is stable and confidence-inspiring. With a curb weight of approximately 530 pounds, it feels solid and planted without being overly bulky. The full fairing gives the bike a sleek, cohesive look while also providing solid wind protection and shielding from road debris at highway speeds. Add in adjustable suspension, dual front disc brakes, and a well-cushioned seat, and you've got a machine that delivers a smooth, planted experience across a wide variety of riding conditions. You can typically find a well-maintained GSX 650F in the used market for anywhere between $4,000 and $5,500 USD depending on mileage and condition, making it a serious value proposition for riders who want versatility, comfort, and dependable performance. But if you're the kind of rider looking for something even rarer, with a little more personality and even less exposure, these are the 7 hidden gem motorcycles no one knows about, so you can buy them dirt cheap. Did we miss a bike that deserves a spot on this list? Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe for more motorcycle content, and as always, ride safe. See you in the next one. See you in the next